Good day, everyone. Welcome to Module 7 of the analysis of the Nigerian Tax Bill. Um, in this Module 7, we will be talking about Chapter 7 of the Nigerian Tax Bill 2024. Chapter 7 of the Nigerian Tax Bill 2024 introduces a framework for the imposition and collection of excise duties, specifically targeting services. Excise duty traditionally applied to goods such as alcohol and tobacco. Now, it is extended to high consumption services within Nigeria to broaden the tax base and capture revenue from sectors with significant economic activity. This chapter ensures immediate and efficient collection of excise duty aligned with global practices and leveraging modern compliance tools. By focusing on targeted industries and transactions, it balances revenue generation with simplicity and fairness. So, part 1 talk about the imposition and collection of duty. This is section 157. Excise duty is imposed on specified services provided within Nigeria. The duty is collected at the point of transaction, ensuring immediate compliance and reducing the risk of evasion. The objective is to capture value from services consumed domestically aligned with Nigeria's fiscal priorities. For rates of excise duty, section 158, the duty rates are detailed in the 10th schedule, allowing flexibility to adjust rates by service type without amending the entire law. For example, telecommunications services may have a different duty rate than gaming on gambling, reflecting the varying revenue potential of these sectors. The significance of this is that this centralized and dynamic structure simplifies adjustment in response to economic changes or policy priorities. Now, number 3, base for excise duty, section 159. The excise duty is calculated on the total charge for the service, including both monetary and in-kind payments. The purpose of this is to ensure comprehensive coverage of all forms of consideration, preventing undervaluation of services provided in barter or similar arrangements. So, accessible services, that's section 160. Section 160, excise duty applies to specific sectors, including telecommunications, gaming, gambling and betting, lotteries, currency exchange transactions involving the naira. The exchange rate used must align with the official rate set by the Central Bank of Nigeria. Any exchange rate exceeding the official rate incurs excise duty payable by the seller. Now, let's look at the impact of currency control provisions. 1, it discourages currency speculation, reduces revenue loss from off-market exchange rate transaction, encourages adherence to the official CBN exchange rate. Now, for number 5, excessive transaction, section 161, this defines the point when a service becomes accessible. For fiscal services, the excise event occurs when the service is provided. For remote or virtual services, the excise event is the consumption of the service within Nigeria, even if the provider is located abroad. The purpose of this is to ensure excise duty applies to both local and cross-border services consumed by Nigerian residents, expanding the tax base. So, for example, a Nigerian user subscribes to an international online gambling platform. The service is accessible is exercisable because it is consumed within Nigeria. Now, for number 6, monthly collection of excise duty, section 162. Excise duty must be collected and remitted monthly to the relevant tax authority. And the benefit of this is routine collection, improve predictability for service providers, and it also enables the government to track excise revenue consistently. Number 7, exemptions from excise duty, section 163. Only services explicitly listed in the 10th schedule are subject to excise duty. All other services are exempt, reducing compliance burden for sectors not covered under the schedule. The significance of this is that this targeted approach ensures administrative efficiency and focuses on high revenue or high consumption sectors, simplifying compliance. The key takeaway here is 1, targeted application. The focus on high consumption sectors such as telecommunications, gaming, and lotteries ensures significant revenue generation from industries with robust transaction volumes. 2, currency control provisions. By imposing excise duty on off-market currency exchange rates, the bill promotes alignment with the official CBN exchange rate, addressing revenue leakage and speculative practices. 3, monthly compliance schedule. The requirement for monthly collection and remittance of excise duties promotes timely compliance and enables consistent monitoring by tax authority. 4, clear scope and exemptions. Defining accessible services in the 10th schedule reduces ambiguity, making it easier for service providers to understand and comply with their obligation. Now, the implication for stakeholders. Now, let me talk about the implication for stakeholders. For service providers, telecommunications and gaming companies. So now I'm referring to telecommunication and gaming companies. They must integrate excise duty collection into their pricing and billing system. They must also regularly remit collected duties to the tax authority. And with respect to currency exchange operators, they must ensure adherence to official exchange rates to avoid additional excise liabilities. 2, they must also implement systems to calculate and remit duty on any rate discrepancies. For tax authorities now, which is the third stakeholder, 1, with respect to monitoring compliance, they must use the monthly collection schedule to track duty payments and identify potential evasion. With respect to revenue expansion, the inclusion of high consumption services and cross-border transactions expands the tax base, increasing government revenue. Now, the third stakeholder, that is the consumers, awareness of increased costs. So end users will bear the excise duty cost, potentially leading to higher service prices. Greater transparency in billing will ensure consumers understand the duty components. So in conclusion now, Chapter 7 of the Nigerian Tax Bill 2024 introduces a structured and targeted framework for excise duties on services, marking a significant step in Nigeria's effort to diversify its tax revenue sources. By focusing on high consumption and high value sectors, the chapter ensures substantial revenue generation while promoting compliance and transparency framework. So the key strength of the framework is that 1, broad coverage, which captures both domestic and cross-border services consumed in Nigeria. Currency regulations encourages alignment with official exchange rates, addressing revenue leakages simplify compliance, a clear scope of taxable services and monthly remittance requirement, enhance administrative efficiency. Now, call to action: service providers should review excise duty obligations and integrate compliance mechanism into operational framework, and consumers should be prepared for potential price adjustments due to the duty. Tax authorities should also leverage the technology and monthly schedules to ensure consistent monitoring and revenue collection. So, by adopting this framework, Nigeria strengthens its fiscal position, ensuring sustainable revenue from dynamic and growing service uh, industries. Thank you, and see you at the next module.